Friends, family, collectors, welcome back to Chatting with the Comic Community. I'm your host, TM. This is the show where I bring people throughout this comic community, this amazing comic community, sit them down, talk one-on-one to them, get to know them a little bit more, and hopefully the viewers at home that are watching are getting to know them more. And today, my guest is none other than the comic bookworm himself. The guy with a bunch of knowledge. People don't give him enough credit for the knowledge that he has in this comic community. He also interviews people with otaku. So without further ado, let's bring out NammaN, the Draw Man.
Hey, TM Nutty, what's up?
What is up, NammaN? Thank you for joining me today. I'm glad you joined me. How you doing today, my man?
I'm doing great. How about you? I heard that you just came out of the hospital.
Yeah, I just came out of the hospital, but I'm doing fine, guys. I'm all right. I'm all perfectly fine, and that a little bit of a scare, but I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for your kind words that you sent me, NammaN. So, for the viewers at home that don't know a lot about you, tell them a little bit about yourself, my man.
Oh, me? Huh? Okay. Well, I go by NammaN, the Drawman on IG. I go by a comic book one on my YouTube channel. I probably started the YouTube thing a long time ago, actually. The comic book channel I started right before the pandemic, and comic collecting I did right before the pandemic too. I used to collect comic books back in '70s. '74 is when I came to the United States, and I used to collect then. When I went to college, I stopped collecting comic books, and then after that, after that, for I guess about 40 years, 30, 40 years, I haven't collected, and then right before the pandemic, I started again. So people gonna think that I'm a pandemic comic book collector, but I used to collect before then. That's a little bit of it. I hope I didn't go too long there, bud.
Oh no, you went just the perfect amount. I have some people that go on for a while, and there's nothing against them at all. They like to tell a lot more of their story, but I'm glad you didn't go too much, so that way I have some questions to ask you. So I know you said you got back into collecting when you had during the pandemic, but you said you've been collecting long before that. So when did that really start for you? What comics were you picking up on the regular and reading?
Well, came to the United States back in 1974, and before then I used to collect comic books. Not collect. I used to go read comic books at the comic book stores in Korea. Of course, we call it manhwa. It's similar to manga, right? So I used to go read those things. We didn't have this collection. We weren't rich enough to collect comic books. You go to some store, you borrow time there. You pay $1, you get 3 hours, 5 hours, or whatever, and just read many comic books as you can, then get out of there. And you don't get to own anything. It's like a paying library system. Then after then when I found out that you could actually own a comic book in the United States, I go, what? I could own a comic book. So, and that's all it took was we had to take bottles, the you take a bottle in exchange for dollars at this store called Utonum convenience stores, and you could buy. If I get dollar, I could get up to like 3 to 4 books, and I was like, that was like heaven for me. But Superman was a first collector. Superman was because Superman was known in Korea. It's
Yeah.
none of the other character was known in Korea, so Superman was a very first thing I picked up. So
That's interesting. So you said maha, like MANHA instead of manga.
yeah, manhwa instead of manga. They're similar.
That's
They're similar. So
that's
little
interesting. I
language.
did not know that.
Huh? Yeah.
I did not know that. I learned something new every day.
Well, they're very similar style too. So art wise and
Yeah.
all that.
Did you? And I like that idea where you just have to pay $1 and to go in and read whatever you want, because like you could read a ton of comics for $1 if you really wanted to. And how long was that? Like you pay $1 and you have an hour. You said?
Well, there's a dollar is something I just made up in my mind. It's something that's affordable for the kids to go and pay something, and you get. I'm making up these figures up. I mean, you pay dollar and you get like a couple hours. You pay $2 and you probably get a full day. Full day of the store when it's open. So, yeah. But I would normally plan a Saturday. Well, even Saturday we could only have plan a Sunday, and we go. I start in the morning, come out at night. Because that's the only time I could actually read comic books. So, but in that United States, you could bring it, dollar in, and you buy your own comic book, and you get to own it. That was like amazing thing. Like so, that was. But I only collected up to when I'm start going to college. Comic book wasn't the thing to collect. We just, I started collecting heavy metals though after that.
Heavy metal magazines?
Magazines, yeah. Yeah. My roommates and everybody
That's
else
interesting.
my roommates and everybody else were collecting Playboy. I mean, but they would buy Playboys, and my thing was I buy me a heavy metal, and these are adult fantasy magazine. I thought those were a lot more interesting than a Playboy. Those stories, you get from Penthouse and that kind of stuff. But I like heavy metal better.
It's like, dude, look at these knockers. No, dude, look at what's in this heavy metal magazine. This is better.
Well, much more. I mean, interesting story. Even though it's geared to for those fantasy magazine, stories are a lot more interesting. The other stories
Yeah.
are like, yeah, you have a big penis and whatever, right? That's the whole story of it. Right?
Oh, shit. We already threw out the penis word in the first 7 minutes, guys. We hit a record. That's interesting though. But a lot of people did lose track. Like a lot of people I talk to always drop comics like when they're going to some people high school, but most people it's when they go to college or they get into their 20s. But nobody I've ever heard say like, yeah, I've gotten into heavy metal. Maybe Tylox, but that's about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the magazine changed. I mean, the comic books it's still comic books, but it's a more adult themed comic books, right? So I guess I sort of acted my age. Then after that, when I got to college, I stopped collecting altogether until right about a year before COVID happened. So that's when I created a YouTube channel, and then I started making comic book content as well with my other channel. That's when I started back. Then when COVID happened, people were like talking about slabbing it and stuff, and talking about price of comic books. I'm going, wow, I need to create my own comic book channel. So that's when I created a comic book channel. But I collected right before that. So yeah, I did always carry my books from. I mean, I had like originally 300 to 500 comic books from high school years. I never try to get rid of it. So I always carry them with me throughout the years. So I'm happy about doing that. Even though I didn't collect.
Let's talk a little bit about your YouTube channel, because you said you got into a YouTube channel prior to like during the COVID and the pandemic, but it wasn't comics. It was another YouTube channel that you started, and then it was a comic YouTube channel that you started afterwards.
Yeah, I had a before comic book channel. I had a channel called Drama, Jack of all, Master of none channel. So I did everything on that channel: comic books, gardening, and bonsai growing, vinyl records. I did all different stuff because I didn't want to pigeonhole myself into one topic.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what happens when you try to do a whole bunch of things in one channel, right? You never get noticed. So then when the pandemic happened, I noticed a lot of comic book channels are coming up. I go, you know what? I need to create a just comic book channel, and that's when I created a comic book channel. But and before that, also I had a political channel called Make Me Think Harder. Yeah, that was interesting too. On political channel, I went up like a 1 to 500 sub in like 6 months. Comic book channel or these other channels, it takes a long time to get your subs up.
So you hear that, everybody? Everybody, just go make a political channel, and you'll be at 1,000 in no time.
Well, I mean, you probably have to. I mean, you probably have to do a little networking, but you got to know the topic you're going to talk about, right? So, and you got to get a little controversial. I don't like doing that. So
do you still have these channels or do anything with them?
I still have a dramas channel, and I do have I have actually 4 channels, but I'm not active in them. I just left it alone for now.
Yeah, not as active as in your main one, NammaN, or a comic book one.
Comic book channel is my main one that I'm actually producing content for it. Yeah, drama channel I occasionally put something up there, but other channels I haven't updated anything in there. I just left it alone for now.
So I want to talk a little bit about your comic bookworm channel and that, because you do some fun stuff over there. You do an interview show alongside Otaku, and you guys cross stream. I know you guys are not supposed to cross streams. I know we've all watched Ghostbusters, but these guys cross streams, and it's over on a comic bookworms channel and Otaku's channel. What gave you the idea to do that, and how did you meet Otaku?
Okay, so before I met Otaku, I on my political channel I met this guy named Ryan Odegawa. He was on your channel.
Mm-hmm.
He do that stuff for you, right? And so I knew Ryan Odegawa from my political channel. He and I had the same political views and stuff. So he and I got to be a friend. Then I found out that he is actually a comic book artist, right? So I say, you know what, Ryan, I'm gonna start a series called Meet the Artist series. I want you to come and have an interview with me. So he did a whole bunch of interviews with me during that time. Then I met Otaku after that, and Otaku said NammaN, he calls me Hyung, bro. He calls me brother in Korean. Hyung means brother, by the way. So he said, Hyung, let's start this channel where we invite. This during the time when the month of May happened. He said, hey, let's start this channel where we invite all these Asian American Pacific Islanders artists to our channel and let's celebrate the month with them. And I said, hey, that sounds like a great idea. And so that's when he and I started doing his before the cross streaming. That's before the cross streaming. So that's when we started that. But then when the cross streaming was allowed to happen on StreamYard, that's when I started to cross stream, because I didn't want to take all the credit because he and I are collaborating. So that's all. I mean, it's probably a good idea to just go back and forth between 2 channels like you guys do. But I was hoping the cross-channel technology would improve on that, so that all the chats will come together. But it's not improving right now.
Yeah, it's hard. Even I know when me and Roscoe were doing Roscoe's Late Night Addiction, we would cross stream that, and it would be on both of our channels. It would do well on his channel, but not well on mine. And I have more subscribers than him, but it's Roscoe's Late Night Addiction. His name is more prominent right. In the title, so everybody's like, okay, it has to be over at Roscoe's channel. Or I would just tell people to be like, okay, guys who were over in my chat, come over to ours, come over to Roscoe's, because people were seeing people that they couldn't see.
Right.
because some people were in my chat, some people were in Roscoe's chat. So after a while, we stopped doing Roscoe's Late Night Addiction because it just got too tiresome. We'd go like 4 hours. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I like the 1 week we go on yours, 1
Yeah.
week we'll go on mine, and that I like that idea.
Actually, I like that idea too, but I just want to see if the technology would improve so that and everybody knows that we're doing crossover. So it doesn't matter if how they get attracted. And
Yeah.
I myself try to highlight every text because you could see everybody's text on the dashboard. So,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But we're willing to change anytime. So I think.
So I want to know also, like, and I also want to say thank you for introducing me to Ryan Adagawa. He was great. He's actually, when he was over on Between the Lines, he said he was donating the art piece that he drew that night
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Comics Curing Cancer. So
yeah. Actually,
thank you, Ryan Adagawa.
yeah. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate that. I when I saw you guys doing that, I mean, I already texted him, but then he already said that he was offering that to you guys. So I said, hey, you oughta donate to the. But he said he was already doing it. So he and I think alike. So that's
Yeah, that's good. And then you had Alex over there. Alex, a good friend of mine. She's from Canada here as well.
Oh, I appreciate that. By the way, Alex was so much fun having her at our channel. That was really fun.
Oh yeah,
So I
there's
appreciate that.
we're definitely bringing her back to Between the Lines too.
Oh,
Like
good, good, good,
we're
good.
planning on December 25th. We're gonna plan because on December 25th, Christmas Day, it lands on a Monday. We're gonna have like a free for all. People that we've had on Between the Lines come back on and have some fun with us on Christmas Day.
Oh, that sounds good. I mean, that's one of the things I wanted to do was invite all these people that's been on our channel and have them talk to each other and stuff. All the artists, and maybe they could network among themselves and stuff. But it's really hard to manage that.
Yeah, it is. That's why I love this community. It's vast, but we get to meet so many different people in this community, and some of us become really good friends throughout this community. And then we broaden our community too, and then we get lumped into like the Insomniacs, and now that's a different type of community, and it's friends all around, and like it's something
Yeah,
that's really cool to meet all of these people that we wouldn't meet in the regular day. Like I wouldn't have met you if it wasn't for this platform.
right. I mean, when I went to the what's that comic book con, Heroes Con in South North Carolina. Yeah, I went there, and I mean there were like 40 to 50 YouTubers. I don't. A lot of them I don't. There's no way for me to go to everybody's channel and watch each of their videos and comment on them. That's impossible, right? But and most of them they know me by coming across like this. Where you come to my I need to invite you to my channel, but if you come to my channel or I come to your channel or I meet you at the meet the I mean the cross your drawing channel in
Oh
between the
yeah,
lines.
Between the Lines.
Yeah, I mean that's how we meet each other. Like we meet each other at the Insomniac, and because we meet each other that way, even though we don't engage in each other's channel that much, you go over there and they are instantly your friends. Every one of them, right? And I'm thinking back and I'm going, when did I have like 30 or 40 friends, willing to give you a hug and talk about your hobbies and stuff, have a drink? I mean, when that happened in my lifetime, I'm 60 years old man now. When that happened? I mean, I have to go back to like my college years, my high school years. Other than that, something like that, this huge community like this it's not a feasible thing. But I mean, well, maybe church time when you go to church and stuff. But it's a human being. We're supposed to socialize. right? And we're finding a way to socialize even through this medium. So I'm really glad that we're able to do that within this community, and be pretty safe about it too. You know, we're not. I don't feel any danger with any of you guys. We're not, because I know your hobby is pretty pure. I mean, it's not a hobby that, you know, that it takes down on some. You know, it's not bad for the community. The
Well,
hobby.
my real hobby I don't really usually share with anybody, but in a closet over there I keep human heads.
Okay, never mind. Click.
It's like we're done. We're done. I'm out.
I mean, yeah, I find it pretty safe with you guys. I mean, you guys, none of them are really discouraging. Everybody's pretty encouraging. You know, I mean, you got CJ, but you know, you got CJ.
Yeah, CJ.
Yeah, but you know, I'm talking about most people are not. Most people are encouraging, and they, you know, they have a positive thing to say or not say anything at all. So I really like this community where it's a very positive motivation. You know, the positive energy, positive
Well,
energy.
that's what this community is for. Like we, whether it be comics, because like it's pop culture in general that we all collect and we all take part of. Like comics, we like to talk about comics that we've read, comics that we're collecting. Um, some of us do it differently. Some of us are like into key comics and like want to get these high end keys. Others, I still want to get keys, but I'm also reading weekly comics that I actually like. And then we actually talk about TV, movies, anything pop culture that we love. So it brings us together and it gives us a platform, gives us people that actually have similar interests.
Right, right. Yeah, I decided myself to collect just. I wanted to catch. See, I told you I have about 300 to 400 issues for my original collection, but I mean, if there's a lot of holes in my runs, right? And I decided that I could focus my collection back to 1970s. You know, as if a comic book come out when I was a kid, and then I'm, you know, collecting them back rather than, because I sort of gave up on new books because I haven't even caught up with my 70s books. So I said, you know, I'm just want to collect the 70s book. It doesn't matter if they're key or not. I just want to, you know, collect them. But I decided that I don't want to collect the run because that's too much. Like action
So
comic runs. I mean,
it is action like so you don't collect like Superman titles, but you collect the because like we do have Superman titles like Adventures of Superman, but the one that you collect the most is action.
Uh, no. Here's what I decided to do. I do collect Superman titles, Action Comic, Superboys, Super Family, and those. But what I decided to do was, instead of doing the run, I'm going to narrow it down to 1970s. So
Okay.
not narrow down to 1970s, and on top of that, I'm going to narrow further down by having themes on the covers at least, right? So I have a wedding covers I collect from Lois Lane issues. I collect like a evil Superman covers where he's the evil Superman. You know, I wanted to do the video series. This is promo, by the way. I want to plug. Yeah, plug.
There you go.
I want to do a Superman series called Evil Superman series, and I want to emphasize that, hey, before there was a Highlander. What is those guys? Evil Highlander guys. I mean the boys, and the
Oh,
Amazon,
the
yeah,
boys. Yeah.
or the Incredible Invincibles. Before those guys, right? They all portray basically evil Superman, right?
Hmm.
But
Like
that's
yeah,
all.
Homelander is an evil type of Superman. Then you also have like Earth 3, where you have Ultraman, who's like an evil. evil version, his story is different than how Superman's story went.
Yeah, so I just want to emphasize that, hey, idea of a Superman having a this ultimate power and him being corrupted, that has existed since the Golden Age or Silver Age, whatever. It's not; those are not new thing, and that exists even within the Superman titles. They have alternate stories where he's evil and all that. So that's not something new. Is we make it sound like that's something new, and we are really excited about that. But all those stories are already been told before, different ways. So I mean, you can always put your own twist to it and make them interesting. But those idea of that is nothing. I have this saying that's in the Bible, I think, too. By the way, there's nothing new under the sun. We all build from each other's ideas and stuff. So I want to have a little series on, hey, you guys are not the first. The evil Superman existed here. So that's what I want to do. But
Good idea. So I'm gonna go. That's a little plug. I would watch that because, like, you did another series where when James Gunn announced the Superman movie that he's going to do, you went back and started doing like these video series about the journey of Superman, like where Superman started.
I'm starting in the middle of that. Yeah, I'm starting in the middle of that. Yeah. So
what like? Yeah, what gave you was it just the James Gunn announcement that made you want to do that, or like actually now knowing that Superman was your main guy, the main collecting and reading type of your journey? I'm guessing that's why you chose Superman to do the Superman Origins.
I lost you there for a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. So what I was saying was like, how did you get into doing those Superman Origins? Was it James Gunn's announcing that he was doing Superman, or was it because like you had a long love for Superman throughout the years?
Well, this is a similar thing with my Superman evil story. Origin story was I was always fascinated by origin stories. I like Superman's origin story. I like Spider-Man's origin stories. I just love origin story. I know some people complain about, oh, another origin story. I love origin stories, right? And then I realized, like, for instance, I seen the movies, and James Gunn is redoing the Superman. He's going to be his origin story. Oh no, we're not going to do origin story. Okay, so that had some kind of influence to it too. But I realized I never read. I watched the movies, cartoons, and whatnot, but I never read Superman's origin story, the Action Comic #1, even though there are plenty of reprints out there, right? So I decided, hey, I want to go back. Then I realized the Superman origin story started with just one page. Just one page. That's it. The rest of them was a Superman, jumping around and rescuing, rescuing Lois Lane, whatever, right? It's not. There was no origin story. Then that origin story is so much different than that origin story I came to love. I mean, so I go, wow. So that started from the Golden Age. So I wanted to check out where all the origin story has changed, where they upgrade his powers. Before they didn't have a first action story. There was no name of there was no mention of his parents' names, or his adopted parents' names. There was no mention of his super strength. But when I saw the origin story, I go, wow, this is where all the superhero comes from, because he mentions like in the action origin story, it starts with these people are like evolved 10 million years. The Kryptonians that evolved 10 million years, and so that's how they got their super strengths, being able to jump and stuff. Oh yeah, there was no flight, by the way. Flight comes later in the books, but he's jumping around. So they compare him to like a grasshopper, being able to jump. If Grasshopper was human size, how much can he jump, right? Things like that, right? Grasshopper, they discuss strength of ant-man. I mean ants. So I'm going. Wait a second. These are like that's what Huck does when he just jump around. That's about how much Huck jumps around. That's evolution. That's like X-Men. X-Men is evolving people, right? The
Yeah.
evolution, the DNA. So you know, so that's what X-Men is. That, the all that stuff is already the idea of that those kind of heroes already is discussed in this first just one page of the action comic. So that's what I noticed. So I'm going, okay. And then when did the flight came about and all that stuff? So when they changed the custom, when they put names to Kal-El and Joel, and when they decide to name they even changed the name of Martha, for instance. She was married at first. She was married first, yeah, in first story, and they never gave it uh, name to Mr. Ken until later on. So so that's idea of that series. I want to just go back to what issue started this, what issue changed this, and so on. So I'm on second, or I should be doing third one here soon. That's
Oh,
so. So even
nice.
from one page to two page to origin story change from one page to two page throughout the Silver Age, Bronze Age, and so on. So I'm trying to keep that up. And some of these books are really expensive, so I found digital copies, things like that. So I'm trying, and I'm still
Uh,
finding things out. I'm still finding things out. So
I know the DC Infinite app has a lot of older books on there that you can go back and read. That's how I don't have the DC Infinite app anymore. I plan to get it back. That's how I like read like the origin story of Animal Man, the origin story of Swamp Thing. Like I can't acquire those because they're so expensive, but I can go back and read those.
origin story,
Also,
origin story of who? Because just
sorry, Animal Man
Animal Man. Okay,
and
okay.
Swamp Thing.
Oh, okay, cool. I need to probably
Uh,
get that. I probably need to get that because
yeah, it's a good app in that if you have a tablet, it works perfectly. I know a few people that love that app. And you also after like 3 weeks, you get a chance to like read newer comics that are coming out weekly as well.
cool,
Um,
cool.
to go back on Superman, I remember those guys, those um, Joe Schuster and them, Jerry and Joe,
Yeah,
would
yeah.
get together in school, and for their school newspaper, they did a little story on Superman. And in this story, it was he was made out to be a villain in
Yeah,
their
yeah, yeah. That's very
like
first one.
their
Right,
very
right,
first one,
right.
and he looked more like Lex Luthor than anything.
Yeah, yeah. That, yeah. That's the interesting story too. The third video that's coming up. I'll announce it here. I guess. I mean, spoiler alert for my video. But third one's coming up is Superboy, right? To me, Superboy and Superman is origin stories are the same, right? So they published first Superboy story, but the Joe and Siegel, those guys, pushing DC to, hey, you need to write a Superboy story. Come on, give us. So they put in the script and all that stuff, right? And DC said, we're not interested in yet, But you know, people are interested in Superman. I mean, they will be interested in Superboy, right? So when Joe and what's his name got recruited by Army, and they have to go serve in
Jerry,
Hawaii. Jerry, yeah, Joe and Jerry, right?
yeah,
Yeah, anyway, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shoes. No,
yeah,
Jerry Siegel. I forgot to. Anyway, when those two, they had to go to serve at Army. So while they were in the Army, DC decided to pull their script, change it a little bit up, and start the Superboy series. And so it's quite a bit different than what they started out. But yeah, that's the next one I'm going to do. is it's a little controversial because it's a DC screwing, these artists and writers, you know, that's been going on for a long time.
Oh, it still goes on. That's why Image got founded, was because they were like, you know what, we're sick of people, uh, these companies taking our ideas and giving us no credit. Like Joe and Jerry had to go years,
Right.
even like literally making no money whatsoever, seeing their creation up on the big screen and like getting like promotions, like radio show, a TV show, and like them just like how's that, like that's definitely a kick in the face right there, just being like, look, your creation's up here and you're making nothing, you're not even credited in this. So they're like, it just didn't sit well with a lot of people like Neil Adams and people like that.
Yeah, I mean, I, I mean, artists and the writers should feel a little bit luckier nowadays than back then, because image changed quite a bit, right? During the image time, I think that was when all these guys came out of DC, Marvel, and created that company. That was a huge change, and so now the artists enjoy more freedom. More credits, and so they should feel fortunate because these guys didn't get any kind of credits for a long, long time.
Mm.
So yeah, I appreciate that they are finally getting their credits, at least credits, right? Not the not the movie money, but at least they're getting the credits. So
Yeah, it was huge for them when they saw in the movie that created by Jerry and Joe. So
yeah,
it was something huge for them.
yeah, yeah.
So
I'm thankful for that. At least,
So I want to go back a little bit because I was even talking with Roscoe about this and that. I was like telling him, I was like, you know what, I'm going to be sitting down with NammaN and that. And he's like, you know what, you should ask him about his wedding covers. And you brought that up earlier today, or earlier in this show, about your wedding covers. I want to know why. What's the fascination about wedding covers?
oh yeah. Well, it's a wedding cover fetish, right? No, I like I say, instead of collecting the run, I want to collect the theme covers, right? Wedding covers. Uh, Actually, I have three things that I collect in that general idea. Is birth cover, origin, right? Birth, uh, wedding, and death, like funerals, and so those are the three theme cover that I collect. So people notice wedding cover because that's the most attractive ones. But I do collect origin stories, which is birth, like when they're infant and stuff, uh, uh, wedding, and so three things that are pretty consistent in our human society. Uh, so far, it may change. That this may change in next generation, but so far that's the three basic theme. So like dead texts and whatever, right? So those are the three things I primarily collect. But yeah, I enjoy collecting wedding cover because those are not too expensive. That's I you know although I think
I think that,
Aquaman wedding covers are I think low grades are like 50, $60. I'm thinking on it right now.
so that would be Aquaman and Mara.
Yeah, Mara, that's back Silver Age, I think. Yeah.
Okay, and I think the next one would be Peter Parker and Mary Jane.
Yeah, I need to collect. So I've been focusing on Superman so far.
Hmm.
Now I need to go back to collecting. I just recently got they had double covers with Peter Parker, Mary Jane marries, and he marries in Spider-Man
Oh,
suit. That
the
one.
what ifs.
No,
The
not
what if
that. What
is
if?
it a different one? Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
so.
I have those what if ones.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm trying to collect those things, but I was focused more on Lois Lane Superman. But now I need Spider-Man is my second best. Iron Man is my third best. So those are what I'm.
That's surprising. There's only a few Iron Man like reading fans that I've come across, or like people that collect. Like I know 22 comics. We got Dale of Suspense. We got Caroline from You Promised Me Comics. Not Lady F. Caroline from You Promised Me Comics. I've had her on the show before. She with Sparks Comics. Her and Sparks do a show together. She's a huge Iron Man fan too, collecting Iron Man. So I don't know too many Iron Man fans out there.
Well, actually, this is surprising. I was at the live stream just right before this, right? So we were talking about comic book I picked up. Well, I was telling the guys that my comic book collection from my early time, it really depended on what was left on the rack, on the spinner, because I have one store that I could go to, and I could only go to it if I collect enough bottles to trade for money, And on top of that, I had to share all my money with my two sisters. So whatever is left on the rack is what. I mean, sometimes I make it in time. Sometimes, everybody's already take the best things. So Iron Man was there, right? X-Men was always there. So those are the ones I picked up, and that became my collectible items. So Superman was always there. I think Superman was always there because they probably had a bunch of them, and Iron Man and X-Men. I don't think they had, but at the time it wasn't so popular at the time when I was collecting. The kids would not pick them up. So like Fantastic Four, I could never pick them up. I was able to pick up some Justice League, but all the popular ones at the time, I wasn't able to pick it up by the time I got there. So consistently, Iron Man, Spider-Man, because I think Spider-Man also had a lot of them. Superman, they had a lot of them. So
they're high end.
Yeah, but I actually like Iron Man. I like Iron Man better than Batman. I'm sorry that you probably don't like that thought, but the reason I like Iron Man because I thought Iron Man actually could be reality. Of all the superheroes, Iron Man is the only one that I thought could be a reality, come true in the future. And right now, we could actually become we have these robot, exterior robots that could surround us and make us strong. And then you got these army guys that has gears on them, that helps them, navigate whatever. And you could equip yourself with a drone. And I mean, I could see the Iron Man coming possible. I don't see. I mean, Superman no, Spider-Man no. Right? I mean, so, but I could see Iron Man being possible. Now, Batman is there too, but I just don't see somebody that
Yeah.
strong, skillful, and detective all as in one person. So.
Yeah, it is. Like he's trained in every martial arts, and which is very, very hard. Because like, how can you? People take like 10 years to get like mastered. Like the best martial artists take 10 years to get mastered in that form. So it would be hard. Like he's also like the a star detective and that. So yeah, Iron Man does seem the more plausible than Batman. I'll give you that.
With the Mike, let's say take me for example, my younger self when I'm not fat as stuff. Let's take that young man and then average dude, right? Well, I mean, it's a little bit below average, I mean, but whatever, right? You take that guy. Can you make him Batman? No, but you could make him an Iron Man, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, I won't be building my own suit, but somebody that has smarts can build me Iron Man suit, right? So, yeah, like a Warhammer. I mean, so that's why I always thought, hey, I want to be superhero just like Iron Man, but I never had any gumption thinking that I could one day become a Batman.
No. You could be NammaN the Batman.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you say, I, I was I was actually trained in Taekwondo since I was like 6 years old, to college years, and I still haven't achieved the uh, master status. Right? I just don't see.
All of those years.
I just don't see. I just don't see that happening with the martial arts, the swords, and some of them are very similar. Karate and Taekwondo is similar. Kung Fu and Taekwondo, there's some similarity there, but Judo is quite different than Taekwondo. Hapkido is a little bit different. So yeah, I just don't see that happening.
Sorry, all you Batman fans, you've been told.
I, I mean, it's a better chance that Superman comes from Krypton than a bigger Batman.
Who knows, man? Apparently, according to the U.S., we now have UFOs. They're now existent. They're out there, man.
Yeah. Also, I mean, you know, yeah, idea of evolving. I don't think we're going to get physically evolved. I mean, that's unreal too, I guess.
We
Idea
all
of,
get mutant powers.
yeah, that's unreal, I guess. I mean, we get more lazy with all these texts and food, and I see myself getting fatter and lazier, and I don't see myself getting Superman bods.
It is true though. You think about it. It was like we went from like back in like the prehistoric times and that with like cavemen and stuff where we used to go hunt for our food and hit uh, attack animals with our clubs or however we used to do it. Now we're just like done. That's it. That's us hunting for
Ding
food
dong,
now.
there's your food.
Yeah.
You don't go out. I'm like, should I go for a walk or should I watch YouTube videos?
Yeah. I do the best of both worlds though. I listen to Spotify and I'll download my Spotify what I want to listen to and I plug in my headphones and then go for a walk with them in.
That's a really good idea. I need to do that. Good idea. I'll take it. I actually need to walk. A walk because a lot of my hobbies are watching YouTube, drawing. Computers. It's all indoor stuff. I do need to have a. I need to take care of my body a little bit better. You're right.
I'm glad you brought up the drawing part because like we haven't like we're already like almost 50 minutes in and we haven't even gotten to the drawing portion of the show where I wanted to ask you like how long have you been drawing? Because you are a fascinating artist. You do all of these different you've been doing cards and that and the way that you draw is fascinating to me because you can just be like do oh this is you. And so I want to know how long have you been drawing and what kind of style do you draw with?
Um, uh, Now this is another thing that I was gonna make a video on. See, I got too many projects, but I've been trained to be. I don't believe there's. I don't believe I'm an art genius. I don't think I'm seven god of any kind of things like that. But I believe that if you train me enough, I think I could become a fairly decent artist, make money at the art. I'm that confident about my art, but I'm in no way a genius artist because uh, I believe that the amount of time you put in, you'll get time out. And that's not just me, but just normal people. If you put that much time into it, that's what you'll get out. That's what I believe. Unless you're a genius, right? Reason I know that I'm not a genius because I could drop it and not do it too. I feel like if you're a genius at it and it comes naturally to you, there's no way you're gonna go over there and do computer programming work or do engineering work or accounting work or lawyer work when you can do this. You be so frustrated because you cannot do what you're best at, right? I don't get that frustrated when I'm not doing art. I enjoy doing it, but I don't get that frustrated if I cannot do it. So that's why I don't think I'm genius at this. All I know is that I put this much work in. This is what I get. You put in you put out what you put in. That's all I know.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's true for anybody. So I have no qualm saying I think I'm a good artist, but I don't think I'm a anyway near a genius level. So
I know a lot of people would beg to differ that would say like you are a good artist. Like I do know what you mean by like looking at people that are like a genius at art. Like I'd consider Roscoe a genius at art. He should be doing covers in my opinion. And then you look at like somebody like Tricky Trapster or people like that. You're like those guys should be doing covers. Those definitely should be doing covers. But what you're doing is still art because art is subjective. So what you're doing with the cards and what you can do with like drawing people on a card and their likeness, like as you're on stream, because you usually do this on stream. You're sitting there drawing while you're on stream while you're hanging out with everybody, and you're just like, you know what? Let's draw who's this guy on stream right now, and you draw that, and you draw a perfect version of him. So you got to give yourself a little bit more credit on how you draw.
I'm not denying that there's geniuses out there. Just that the art of you, the art of me being genius is very unlikely. Like, well, if it is common thing, then they're not genius, right? If it's common, if it's common, then they're not genius, right? You're genius only because you are 1 in 1,000,000 or 1 in 1 billion, whatever, right? So I cannot put myself in that. I'm not 1 in 1,000,000, right? I may be 1 in 10,000, whatever, right? But that's the but I'm in 1 in 10,000 only because I put that much time into it. So I started drawing when I was a kid. My mom got me drawing when I was like 3 or 4, and we used to have this diary that I had a drawing diaries. I had to draw every day uh, to what you do today, and you have to draw that event. Next day, I had to. So I was trained to be, you know, from early on, even though I didn't have a professional training, I was always drawing something. So if you do that, then you'll have this output. That's what I'm saying. I'm not. I mean,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm not saying that. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not. I'm not. I'm. Not, there's no way I'm there. Like Kim Jong Il, for instance. Kim Jong Il is a genius. I think uh, Jim Lee is genius. Those guys, I just cannot put myself there, even if I try really, really hard. So because I already put up the time. So
You're as I don't know, like, so you don't think you'll ever get better at the art that you produce?
oh, I think I can, and I feel very fortunate that I'm 60-year-old man. Right? I mean, everything is deteriorating. Everything is, I'm getting my mass is getting my bones getting less dense, and so I may even get shorter. Uh, things are turning white, gray. Uh, but taking on art at this late stage in my life and seeing myself get a little bit better each day, that's something new in me that's growing. That's really exciting for me. So that's what I like about doing art nowadays, because first I don't have to worry about making money from my art, right? Because I have a career and stuff. So I could do it as enjoying it rather than I have to do this to make money from it. That stress is not there, and if I keep on doing it, I know I will improve eventually. And I actually have something growing new. It's like when you're a kid, you want to be when you're third grader, you want to be fourth grader. If you're elementary school, you want to be high schooler. I mean, you have all that. I'm actually have something to look forward to rather than just looking forward to dying. Waiting for my days to expire, I'm actually having something in me that grows. So I really appreciate that. I mean, I
It's
know it'll get
awesome.
better. I know it'll get better if I keep on trying. So that's what I like about it.
That's fantastic. So we're coming up to that hour mark. We got so my last question for you is, and this is going to be an interesting one, and you don't have to be quick with this. You can tell a story with it if you want. I want to know, like, what are some of the cartoons that you grew up with? Like, I'm very interested in some of the cartoons that you grew up with.
Oh, okay. Mm, okay. Okay. You're touching on a lot of stuff that I'm already making videos on. Uh,
Oh, wow.
so I, uh, I I I watched cartoon when I was a kid in Korea, right? So my mom got me into drawing. My mom got into reading early on, and I think that's why I like comic books. Then when I came to the United States, that changed because my language changed. Before a I was a really good reader. I mean, above my, my level. If everybody was reading children's book, by the time everybody's reading children's book, I'm reading all those books. For instance, even they say Robinson Crusoe or Gulliver's Travel. They used to have in the picture books, right? You read when you're a kid. My mom would give me like picture books, and she made me read all that stuff. And she would take me to all kind of art contests. So she got me trained very early on my age, and that's when I started to enjoy reading comic books. When I came to the United States, all that changed. Everybody's busy making money, trying to find a job. Even not just that job is not enough. Mom has to find a job, so all that is gone. My mom don't know how to speak English, so she could not teach me anything anymore. I'm out there learning new language by myself, and I used to enjoy reading. Those reading materials are not available anymore, and only thing that I had was comic book. So, uh, and then my cartoons have changed. I used to enjoy. I think you know it as G Force.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know it as G Force. I used to watch those cartoons when, and I was thinking at the time, G Force was Korean made, but it's actually Japanese made that had been imported to Korea back in early 70s, like 70, 72, around there. So I used to watch those. But when I came to the United States, all that changed. And I don't understand the cartoons. Like uh, one of the cartoons I didn't like was the Mr. Magoo. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, Mr.
I watched
Magoo.
that and I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand the language. I don't understand the humor because the humor is the last thing you learn, right?
Mhm.
I don't understand. And I'm at the time I'm missing like, oh, I want to watch my G-Force animation. I want to watch my Tiger Mask animation. I'm thinking about all these different animation when I used to enjoy it. I come here, I'm going. I don't understand Scooby Doo. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't. It took me a while for me to learn to enjoy those things, but yeah. So the first animations are a lot of animation from Korea, and but that's why one of the things I was going to discuss was when I started reading comic books. The artist that I gravitated toward was people who drew like manga characters because that's what I was, first growing up with. So, but a lot of the artists like Frazetta or Jim Stalin, these guys like to, John Bryan. I mean, they like to draw the, muscular, all muscle. But if you look at G Force, those guys are really slender, tall, and you know, it's very different style, right?
Yeah.
So one of the artists that I gravitated toward was Mike Grell. He is a Legion of Superheroes. He is Warlord series. They were like very slender characters. long legs and very slender characters, right? And so that's what I gravitate toward. Because I didn't read, I just look at the pictures, and that's what I enjoy. I try to tell much story as possible from those comic books. So that's what I enjoy most, and that type of art was what I enjoyed the most. It was really until recently, Jack Kirby art. I didn't like it at all when I was a kid. Too too blocky, and none of his characters are slender. So, but yeah. So yeah, it took me a while for me to enjoy animation like Scooby Doo. I mean, I do enjoy them now, but it took me a while. Yeah, I did like Super Friends. I remember liking Super Friends. What was I boy Saturday? See, I'm not a morning. Even back then, I was not a morning person, but I didn't want to miss any of the Saturday animation. So I would stay up all night so I could watch from 6 in the morning to 12 at noon. Then I fall asleep after that. so so the Saturday morning was a Tarzan was one of them. I think Tarzan was cool. Let's see. What animation was there besides it? Uh, yeah. Can you just give me hints on Saturday morning cartoons?
My Saturday morning cartoons would be way different, but like let's go back to the '80s. We had like Transformers.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, when Transformer came out, I was happy for my kids. I was like, oh, I wish I had those kind of cartoons at my age. So
See, I was more like I'm a '90s kid. Like my cartoons were a lot different growing up and stuff. Like, so I was a '90s kid. Like even Transformers was before my time. I grew up with Beast Wars. That's why I'm a huge fan of Beast Wars, as you can tell. That's what I grew up with. Um, yeah, there's a ton of different ones. The Detentioneers, where like it was just a group of kids in detention all the time together. So played off of the success of the Breakfast Club. So
yeah, there was some animation. I caught on like X-Men, but then I was collecting comic books, so I like that. I like the Batman, the retro looking Batman ones when they created in '80s or '90s. I mean '90s. I think that was
oh yeah, the Batman the animated series.
yeah. Those are retro looking. They made it retro looking even from that time on. I mean even from that time. So I like those animations. I I, I wish I got into the gargoyles. Those would look really cool, gargoyles.
Oh yeah,
But I
yeah.
didn't get into it when I was a kid. So that makes a lot of difference. What I get into kid is different than what I got into as I've been college and then adult. They're all different, a little bit different. It has a
Mhm.
different kind of feelings to it, right?
Gargoyles was definitely it felt like it was ahead of its time with the animation and the voices that they had for the characters. It felt like it was it, it was something different that Disney was playing with Gargoyles. I felt a lot darker than what we were used to. And it
Yeah.
really like I remember me and my stepfather he would love watching Gargoyles. So
Yeah, it was
it was a
attractive
show
to
where
adults as
adults
well.
would
Yeah,
love.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember liking those too. So, but
Well, no, man. I want to say thank you for joining me on this hour. I know we had to reschedule a couple of times, and I appreciate you being patient with it. And we finally got to sit down and talk today and have a great conversation. We got to know you a little bit more. Hopefully, the people at home got to know you a little bit more. I want you guys to go down and hit that like button. Also, down in the description is NammaN, the Drawman's Instagram and YouTube channel, as well as Otaku's Instagram. And Otaku I have him on
yeah, yeah,
Instagram.
yeah, Instagram.
Otaku's Instagram and YouTube. Go give him a subscribe as well, because these guys are a duo, just like me and Roscoe are a duo. So definitely go subscribe to both of them. Thank you again, NammaN, for joining me. Is there anything you want to close out on? Anything you want to plug before we end the show?
Actually, I want to have uh, I think we are planning a show with another Travis Bueller, Ferris Bueller, the comic Bueller. but
Comics with Beeler. Yeah.
yeah, I want to have one with you because we haven't had one with you. I think we had Roscoe over, so I want to have one with you because, like you say, you guys are the team, and so I want to have you over at the Meet the Collector series. So yeah, so I'm going to ask you on here. Hey, come to our channel, please. And
No, no, I'm just kidding. Yes, I will. That being
uh,
said, guys, yeah, we'll definitely get together, and that'll be live, right? That'll be a
yeah, that'll
live
be
one.
live. That'll
We'll
be
get
live.
together.
Late night.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Okay.
I'm always down for hanging out with. It'll be the first time I actually get to talk to Otaku. So
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
yeah,
Cool.
I've been in his chat, but I've never spoken to him like you and I are doing right now.
Okay, cool. That's cool. That's cool. So yeah, that'd be new. That'd be new. So
All
anyway,
right, guys,
I appreciate the invite. I really had fun. We could have one similar to this soon.
we for sure will. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and as always, my friends, stay freaking